Hey everyone, and welcome back. We're doing a deep dive today, and you guys are not going to believe this. We're diving into the crazy world of meme coins.
Memecoins.
And get this, there was a recent SEC decision that has everybody like buzzing,
Oh, yeah.
buzzing about this. So remember those cryptocurrencies that started online as jokes,
Right.
like Dogecoin,
Uh-huh.
with the Shiba Inu dog?
Yep.
Well, the SEC, that's the main crew that regulates all the financial stuff in the U.S. They just said
Yeah, they did.
that meme coins are not securities.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
So yeah,
That's big.
it is.
I mean, for a long time, the SEC, especially under like the old chairman Gary Gensler,
Right.
he was trying to classify a lot of these digital assets as securities,
Uh-huh.
which would have meant way stricter rules.
Right.
Kind of like what you have with stocks and bonds.
Yeah.
Which would have been, I don't know, a whole different thing.
Whole different thing.
So what does this change, like, actually mean?
I get that it's big.
It is big news. Yeah.
But I'm still a little fuzzy on, like, why it matters.
Okay, so think about it this way. If something is a security, the government is basically saying there's like a thing, an underlying thing of value
Uh-huh.
backing it up, right?
Right.
Like, company assets or future profits.
Yeah. Okay.
With meme coins, that's not really the case.
Okay.
Their value is driven more by online communities, the hype, almost like a collectible.
Gotcha. That makes more sense. So the SEC is saying they're not securities?
Yeah.
Is that, like, good or bad?
It depends on who you ask.
For people who are into crypto.
For developers and exchanges,
Uh-huh.
it's probably a sigh of relief.
Okay.
Fewer rules can mean more freedom to kind of innovate.
That makes sense.
But for everyday investors like you and me,
Yeah.
it might be a bit more tricky.
How so? Isn't less regulation always better?
Not necessarily. When something isn't classified as a security, it can be harder to track down scams or fraud.
Oh, okay.
The SEC may not have as much power to step in, if things go bad, to protect investors.
That's a really good point. I had not thought about that. So it's kind of like a trade-off then. More freedom, but also more risk.
Exactly. And this shift in thinking, it's really interesting because it comes right after
Yeah.
Gary Gensler left the SEC back in January.
Oh, right.
Remember?
Yeah.
He was pretty aggressive about going after crypto companies.
Yeah, he was.
Well,
Things seem to be changing now.
they do.
Yeah, I've been hearing about that. The SEC's been dropping investigations
Uh-huh.
and even withdrawing cases against some
Yeah.
pretty big names in crypto.
They have. They've been easing up a bit.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So like Coinbase,
Yeah. Coinbase,
Gemini,
Gemini. Yeah.
Robinhood.
Right.
Robinhood. Yeah, those are like the big ones.
Those are like the on-ramps for most people to get into crypto.
Right, and the SEC was coming down hard on them.
Yeah. But now, they'd eased up a bit.
So it's almost like a new era then for crypto regulation.
That's one way to look at it, yeah.
Right.
This SEC decision on meme coins,
Right.
along with those dropped cases,
Yeah.
it definitely signals a change in approach, maybe a more crypto-friendly environment.
Interesting.
But
Uh-oh.
that doesn't mean the Wild West is back.
Okay.
The SEC made it very clear that they're still watching out for spams.
Of course.
Especially projects that are trying to hide behind the meme coin label
Right.
to avoid regulations.
Yeah. Just because something is a meme coin doesn't automatically mean it's a free pass
Exactly.
to do whatever you want.
Exactly. There are other agencies, too, that might step in if there's fraud going on.
Of course.
And this is where things get especially important for you.
Yeah.
Somebody who might be
Right.
interested in crypto.
Yeah, because how do you even tell the difference between like a legit meme coin
Right.
and something shady? It's already like it's
Yeah.
a pretty confusing world out there.
Exactly. That's why we're doing this deep dive.
Yeah, for sure.
We want to equip you with the
got it.
knowledge
Yeah.
to navigate this landscape.
For sure.
The SEC decision
Yeah.
is just one piece of the puzzle.
Okay.
There are a lot of other factors at play, like what's happening in Congress.
Ooh. Is this where we talk about
Yes,
Congressman Sam Liccardo and his Mean Act?
you got it. Now, this is where things get really fascinating.
Okay.
Congressman Liccardo
Uh-huh.
from California
Okay.
is concerned
Mhm.
about
Okay.
how politicians might be using their positions
Right.
to influence
Yeah.
or even profit from crypto.
I've been seeing headlines about that. It feels like every other week there's a new meme coin
Yeah,
linked to some politician or celebrity.
exactly. And that's what Liccardo is trying to address. He proposed this bill called the Meme Act,
Okay.
which stands for Markets Ensuring Morality and Ethical Procedures.
Okay, break that down for me. What would the Meme Act actually, do?
Okay, it's all about preventing conflicts of interest. Basically, the bill would make it illegal for the president, members of Congress, and their families from issuing or sponsoring any kind of security or cryptocurrency.
So you're saying they wouldn't be able to, start their own meme coin? Or
Exactly.
pump one up that they secretly, had a stake in?
Exactly. It's all about transparency
All right.
and preventing people in power from using their position
Right.
to unfairly profit
Right.
from the crypto market.
It makes sense. Makes sense.
Think about it. You see a meme coin endorsed by some politician,
Right.
maybe you're more likely to
Yeah.
invest in it. Right.
Totally. I can see how that would be a huge problem,
It is a problem.
especially with meme coins, where the price is so driven by
Yeah,
hype and speculation.
exactly.
It feels like it would be super easy to manipulate.
It is. And that's a big part of why Congressman Liccardo is
Yeah.
pushing for this bill. Okay.
He's seen how meme coins can be used
Yeah.
to potentially take advantage
Right.
of everyday investors like us.
Right.
And he wants to put some safeguards in place.
It's interesting, though, this whole idea of politicians and crypto.
Yeah.
It feels like a pretty new thing.
It is. It is relatively new,
Okay.
at least in the grand scheme of things.
Right.
But it's becoming more and more common. You see politicians trying to appeal to younger voters who are into crypto.
Right.
Celebrities launching their own tokens.
Oh, yeah.
It's all getting very intertwined.
So this Meme Act,
Yeah.
is that the only thing happening in Congress right now?
Wow.
Related to crypto?
There's a growing movement
Okay.
to address conflicts of interest in general, not just with crypto.
Oh, okay.
Some people are even pushing for a complete ban
Wow.
on politicians trading stocks.
Mm.
They argue that public service shouldn't be a way to get rich.
I can definitely see both sides of that argument.
It's a tough one.
But let's zoom out for a sec.
Okay.
We've talked about the SEC decision on meme coins.
Yeah.
And it's this Meme Act.
Mm.
But what does it all actually mean?
Yeah.
For someone like me who's just trying to understand the crypto world.
It is a lot to take in.
It is.
I know. The key takeaway is that the rules around crypto are constantly changing.
For sure.
And it's important to stay informed. Meme coins, especially,
Right.
are a bit of a wild card right now.
Okay.
They're not securities,
Right.
which means less regulation,
Mm-hmm.
but also potentially more risk.
So how do I stay informed? Is it just reading headlines and hoping for the best?
There are definitely resources out there that can help.
Okay.
Websites like CoinDesk and Cointelegraph are good places to start.
Oh, God.
They offer news and analysis on all things crypto.
Cool.
And don't be afraid to dig deeper
Right?
into specific projects
Yeah.
that interest you. Okay, cool. What about those utility functions you mentioned earlier?
Yeah.
I keep hearing that,
Yeah.
but I'm not sure I fully get it.
It's all about what a cryptocurrency is actually used for.
Okay.
Like Bitcoin was designed as a digital currency.
Okay.
Ethereum allows developers to build applications
Okay.
on its blockchain. Those are utility functions.
Got it.
Meme coins, on the other hand,
Right.
often lack those practical uses.
Right.
Their value is mainly driven
Okay.
by community sentiment and speculation.
Okay, so it's like the difference between a tool and a collectible.
Yes,
You might buy a hammer
exactly.
because you need it to build something,
Right.
but you might buy a rare baseball card just because you think it will go up in value.
That's a great analogy.
Thanks.
And understanding those underlying differences can help you make more informed decisions as an investor.
So we've talked about how the SEC is treating meme coins differently
Right.
and how Congress is starting to think about the ethics of politicians and crypto.
Yeah.
But where does this all fit into the bigger picture?
This is where things get really interesting.
Right.
The SEC's decision to classify meme coins as collectibles
Right.
rather than securities could have a ripple effect across the entire crypto landscape.
Like it sets a precedent for how other digital assets
Exactly.
might be regulated in the future.
Exactly. And it suggests that regulators are starting to move away from
Okay.
a one-size-fits-all approach to crypto.
Right.
They're recognizing that there are different types of digital assets,
Okay.
each with its own unique characteristics and risks.
Okay, so walk me through that.
Okay.
What are some of these different types of crypto
Okay.
and how might they be regulated differently?
Well, you have your payment coins,
Okay.
like Bitcoin,
Uh-huh.
which are primarily designed for transactions.
Okay.
Then you have your platform tokens,
All right.
like Ethereum,
Uh-huh.
which power decentralized applications and smart contracts. And then there are stablecoins,
Okay.
which are pegged to the value of a fiat currency like the US dollar.
So potentially we could see different sets of rules
Exactly.
for each of these categories.
Exactly. It's still early days.
Okay.
But that's the direction things seem to be heading in.
Okay.
And this is where it gets especially relevant for you as an individual who is navigating the space.
Because it impacts how much risk I'm taking on, or
Exactly.
even what kind of investments I might consider.
Precisely. If you're looking at a payment coin versus a platform token,
Uh-huh.
the regulations surrounding those two assets
Right.
could be very different.
Right.
And that could impact everything from how volatile the price is
Right.
to how secure your investment is.
This is starting to feel a lot less like the Wild West of finance
Yeah.
and more like,
Yeah.
I don't know,
Mm.
a city with different zoning laws for different neighborhoods.
I like that analogy.
Okay.
And just like in a city, it's important to know the rules of the
Right.
neighborhood you're investing in.
Okay. So we got the SEC saying meme coins aren't securities.
Uh-huh.
We got Congress trying to figure out
Right.
ethical guidelines.
Yep.
And we got this potential shift
Yeah.
towards a more nuanced approach
Right.
to crypto regulation overall.
Yeah.
I'm sensing a but coming.
There's always a but, right? And in this case, the but is that
Yeah.
even with this move towards more clarity,
Yeah.
there are still a lot of unanswered questions.
Like what? Give me the cliffhangers.
Well, for starters, how do you actually define these different categories of crypto? What makes a payment coin different from a platform token in the eyes of the law? And who gets to decide where those lines are drawn?
Yeah, that's a good point. It feels like there's a lot of gray area there. And even if they do come up with like clear definitions, how do you prevent people from gaming the system?
Exactly. It's what we call regulatory arbitrage. Imagine a project that tries to structure itself in a way that minimizes oversight, even if it's not really operating in the spirit of the law. That's a big challenge for regulators.
So more rules doesn't always mean more clarity, huh?
Right. And then there's the issue of global coordination. What happens if different countries have completely different approaches to crypto regulation? It could create a lot of confusion and fragmentation in the market.
That makes sense. It's already hard enough to keep track of things in one country, let alone trying to navigate a patchwork of regulations across the globe.
Exactly. So while the SEC's decision on meme coins is a significant step, it's really just the beginning of a much larger conversation. We're still in the early stages of figuring out how to regulate this rapidly evolving technology.
So what's the takeaway for like someone like me who's just trying to make sense of all this? Should I just like throw my hands up and say, forget it?
Not at all. The key is to stay informed and approach crypto with a healthy dose of skepticism. Don't just jump into something because it's hyped up online. Do your research, understand the risks, and invest responsibly.
It feels like that's a good rule of thumb for investing in anything, really.
Absolutely. And remember, the more you understand about how cryptocurrencies work, the better equipped you'll be to navigate this complex and exciting world.
I feel like we've covered a lot of ground today. We've gone from meme coins to the SEC to Congress to the future of crypto regulation as a whole. It's a lot to wrap your head around.
It is, but that's why we do these deep dives, to break down complex topics and make them accessible to everyone.
Before we wrap up, any final thoughts for our listeners out there who are just starting their crypto journey?
Stay curious, keep learning, and don't be afraid to ask questions. The crypto world is constantly evolving, and there's always something new to discover.
And on that note, we'll leave you with a question to ponder. Could the SEC's decision on meme coins signal a broader acceptance of cryptocurrencies as a legitimate asset class? Or is this just a temporary shift in the regulatory winds? Only time will tell, but it's definitely something to keep an eye on.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, stay informed and keep exploring.
That's a wrap for today's deep dive. We hope you found this exploration insightful and engaging. Until next time, keep diving deep.